just what we do around here. So, I think when it comes to just trying to win the room, win the fan base, win the media, and he talked about all these things that are kind of was important. He even mentioned like media and having relationship with the media, which wasn't necessarily a huge priority at all for Tom, and some of those stories have come out. So I think that's I think that's kind of the takeaway. We can break down certain things on a specific level and talk about it. But for a guy who comes in, lands in Austin, gets off a plane, a few hours later gets a commitment, a couple hours later has a press conference and does incredibly well. I think it's a good first day in Austin for him.
First of all, I'm completely distracted because of the comment that you're showcasing. I don't know if you know this. You got a little bit of celebrity in the house. One of Houston Yates's all-time greatest football players and former University of Texas alum, Alfio Visi, is in the house.
Wow. Back
in the day, we all knew him as Alfio Randall.
Okay.
Unless I'm 1,000%. Anyway, I go back a long time in recruiting, and all I'm telling you, Anwar, is we have a 5-star in the house.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Former 5-star Alfio Randall, VC. I think I'm saying the last name right. I always knew him as Alfio Randall as a prospect, and then as a football player at Texas, he hyphenated. Anyway, shout out to Alfio, and shout out to.
What do you remember? Hold on. What do you remember? Tell me what you remember as a high schooler and as a standout.
I think Alfio would tell you that he was a guy that had NFL talent as a young player. And it didn't come together for Alfio, but he was a big-time prospect. Good player, good college player. Like, he played on – Alfio was class of 99, so I want to say he was on that 04 team. Tell me, Alfio. Tell me. What year did you graduate? Was it 04?
Wait for him to pop back in.
I think his last game was the Rose Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he was one of Mac Brown's biggest recruits that like set it off back in the day. I'll tell you this. Our guy, Sarkisian, would love to have an Alfio Randall in this class, because that means he'd be going out and getting one of these 5-star linemen that Texas did not get last year. So anyway, it's funny. You put his comment up on the screen, but I had seen it in the chat, and I was like, wait a minute. I've never noticed that Alfio was in our chats during this. Anyway, shout out to Alfio. Glad to have
you. Yeah, you got to get him on the podcast one day, and relive some memories, man.
So Alfio Randall has totally upstage Steve Sarkisian. But it's funny because I'm definitely not the only one who's a little bit like, what's up? Because everyone's
going crazy.
Alfio was not a low 4-star. he was in that Chris Sims class. Exactly. I'm completely distracted by the fact that we've got a former 5-star in the house, and now I'm looking to see if he pops back up in the comments. Back to Sark. Okay, let's see. I'm going to scatter shoot a little bit here, try to get us back on.
I'm going to go through some of my notes too.
The Texas A&M thing was interesting, in that he attacked that. There's no BSing about that. It was, again, Sark gives short, concise, perfect TV answers. Do you want to play Texas A&M again? Yep, that sounds like that'd be a lot of fun. Let's do it. So there's that. I thought I couldn't help but think of Charlie when he dropped our doors to the high school coaches are open, and our program is your program. I feel like Tom said that, right? So, I mean, it is, but I just, after what Charlie went through, it probably is important that on day one, the Texas high school football coaches feel like their asses are kissed a little bit. So Sark did that, and I think Sark was genuine about it, but you showed up right about the time in 2014 when you were like, why are people picking on Charlie? Like, this is, remember when you showed up, Charlie was just dealing with some weird